Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I'm going to show you how I make what I call my strawberry shortcake cake. It's essentially something that tastes like strawberry shortcake, but it's not individual. It's in a 9x13, so if you're having a lot of people over for anything you've got going on this spring season, but particularly for Mother's Day, it's so easy, it's so simple. It's really requiring just a few very basic ingredients, but I wanted to share it with you because I made it last year on a whim, and we loved it so much that I made it all throughout spring and summer, and it's now one of our favorites, and Mia is obsessed. So we're taking a shortcut by using a store-bought cake mix, but if you search through my channel for Laura Vitale DIY cake mix, a video will come up and there'll be a list underneath of ingredients that you'll need to make your very own homemade yellow cake mix. This is a store-bought yellow cake mix because when they are on sale, they're a great thing to snag up because you can use them to make cookies and muffins and all kinds of stuff, and this is just one of those things. So I'm using a box of cake mix. This is just a standard 15.25 ounce box of yellow cake mix. I also have, this is a secret ingredient. This is one of the things that makes my cake mixes just to die for. You're going to use a little bit of instant vanilla pudding. Yes, you can actually use this twice in this recipe, but for now you're going to need a couple of tablespoons to go into the cake mix. Now what I'm going to need you to do is to disregard what the back of the box says. At least follow my guidance for making the best bakery tasting cake out of box cake mix. And to that, all we're going to do, we're going to make a few changes. We're going to do milk instead of water. Very easy. We're going to do 1.5 times the fat. So on the back of the cake mix, it's going to tell you 1/2 cup of oil. You're going to use 3/4 cup of melted butter, or you can actually use vegetable, or I prefer to use a light olive oil if I am going to be baking with oil. You're going to do 4 eggs instead of 3. I know, but you trust me, right? I know you trust me. And then some sour cream. I always like to add some sour cream or even some non-fat plain Greek yogurt because that tanginess, it's going to make your cake so much more moist and delicious. You cannot even imagine. And now you're just gonna take a mixer and you're gonna mix this really, really well. I've got my oven preheated to 350, a 9x13 inch pan ready to go, and you're gonna mix this until well combined. That looks great. I don't wanna overmix. You never wanna overmix your cakes. Otherwise, they'll come out really tough. The mold. Take that off. Take your spatula, go around the sides, give it a really good mix, like so. Just you wait, because this is going to be the best trick ever to making a store-bought cake mix taste absolutely incredible. You will not even believe it. And I pretty much do this even when I buy like a chocolate cake mix. I do exactly the same thing, except instead of the vanilla pudding, I will use some instant chocolate pudding. And what that does is it just sort of enriches the flavor of that cake mix. It enriches the flavor of the chocolate and the vanilla. It's just simply to die for. You're gonna have to trust me. I use store-bought cake mixes to do a whole load of things. I have made crumb topped muffins. I have made bakery style muffins. I make cookies. Like I said, I make a ton of things because they're extremely versatile. They basically have all of your dry ingredients pre-measured and ready to go. And I'm telling you, when they are on sale, I will snag them up because sometimes you can't even make the mix for less than that, depending on the ingredients that you're buying, you know? Here we go. Make that nice and even as you can manage. It is going to be nice and thick. Beautiful. And this is going to go into your preheated oven at 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes or until it's fully cooked through. Let it cool completely, and then we are going to make the topping. Cake is done. It has cooled, and you'll see that when you take it out of the oven, it's sort of like it'll be more risen, and then it sort of falls a bit, and it is perfection. When you make cake this way, with my modifications, it's a little more dense. It's not as light, but I promise you it is rich and delicious and absolutely out of this world. And I can't wait for you to try it. Okay, to a bowl, we're gonna make we are making a really thick stabilized whipped cream. What you're gonna need to do that is some heavy cream, obviously. You're going to need this. You're gonna need 2 tablespoons of the instant vanilla pudding. you need it. I'm telling you, it makes the biggest difference. And what that does is and a little bit of powdered sugar. What that does is it makes the whipped cream sort of thicker, and it stabilizes it so that it doesn't fall apart as it sits in the fridge. In fact, you can make this whipped cream the day before, keep it covered in the fridge, and it will not deflate. It will not separate. It will not become all liquidy. It's pretty dang on phenomenal. So I'm going to go ahead and get this whipped until it's really nice and stiff peaks. And then we pretty much put the whole thing together. That is perfect. I like to consider this whipped cream sort of a whipped cream custard in one. I don't know. It's just good. It does not deflate. Like I said, it makes for the perfect topper. It makes the whipped cream. It's so good. It makes the whipped cream just taste fantastic. Gives it much better texture. It's just, again, it just gives you a little something different than just whipping some whipped cream and plonking it on top like that, and then just trying to get the stuff away from me. I don't like too thick or too thin of a layer. I think 2 cups is pretty much perfect, because I do think that when it comes to strawberry shortcake, one of the sort of pluses is that combination of a good thick amount of cream to cake. Could have definitely done a better job, but that is perfect. Then I take strawberries. I just take fresh strawberries, and I quite literally just make, oh goodness gracious, what did I do? I just layer strawberries throughout the entire thing. Some of them will overlap like that, which I love. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You just need a ton of strawberries. And then I have these because I'm going to sort of stuff to those. I was meant to put that back on upside down and I ate it. I'm going to stuff those around because I left these whole and I just cut them in half and then left the tops on for a little pop of green. To be honest, I could have just put some mint in here, but we have been having some pretty awful weather. And believe it or not, my mint from my garden last year is back with a vengeance. And so I could have gone out there and grabbed some, but it's been just pouring down rain. I don't even want to mess with it. I open the door, I tell Mother Nature she's being disrespectful, and I come right back in. I like to take a little seedless strawberry jam, and then I will take either a little bit of water or a little bit of like freshly squeezed orange juice, and I just kind of melt that in the microwave for literally 10 seconds. You just want it to become sort of shiny and more liquid, you know, so it's easier to brush on. And I like to brush my strawberries. A, it just gives them a little extra bit of sweetness and flavor, and B, it just helps these look so beautiful and shiny and just, I don't know, over the top. You can also take the strawberries and just toss them into the jam mixture before topping your whipped cream. You can do that too. I find that to be a little bit messy, so I just rather do it this way. And this is just so simple. There's just no reason not to. I want to just take a couple of these strawberries off on the bottom. Ooh. Pretend you didn't see that. Pretend you didn't see that. And I just want to take this one out and replace it with that one. And then take this little guy. No, you know what? That's good. That's good. It was going to bother me if there wasn't any on the bottom. And that's pretty much it. Now, when you go to serve it, I mean, it's really beautiful. You can do a little bit of powdered sugar over the top. You can pipe the edges with a little bit of, you know, like a piping bag. I'm not going to do that simply because I'm not. But you could if you wanted to. I'm going to cut just a tiny bit. This is what's so great about this is that you can cut it right now. You can cut it nice and fresh, or you could cut this, you know, pop it into the fridge and just cut it tomorrow. I'm just going to cut just a little piece in the corner so no one sees anything. I just want you to see, like, the most perfect. It is a fluffy, gorgeous cake. Don't get me wrong, but it's just flavorful. Do you know what I mean? It's just bumped up a few notches with all that goodness. Oh, look at it. It's just bouncy and beautiful. My only tip that I will give you is to make sure you don't underbake it. Huh? Top notch. Top notch goodness. Go to laurainthekitchen.com for the written recipe. You have to make this. It's to die for and couldn't be easier. Hope you enjoy spending time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.